All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Monday market report time for the week ending August 4th, 2024. I want to thank you guys for tuning on in as we take a look at the market at a glance. We generally focus on post 1900 era of graded coins because if this particular segment is doing good, then we could probably assess that the whole market is doing pretty well. And I'd like to say that the market is still pretty healthy. There's been some discussion on whether or not things are gonna soften up here. And that's going to be a foregone conclusion. There will be a time where we're going to see that. There's I believe right as of right now, there are a few segments that are pretty soft. Ultra moderns, anything post 1975, from a registry set perspective, while some of those particular one-off coins are doing pretty well, all the other coins have been pretty soft. But overall, the market to this point today, here toward the kind of like the twilight of summertime, has been pretty good. I'm not noticing anything wild or crazy. What we do know this week is that there was a pretty big show happening. The ANA show in Chicago. That's kind of a big deal. That's I would say top one or two shows for a full year, and it's right in the middle of the summertime. So when we look at greatcollection.com, I believe they were at that show, so they didn't have like, I'm not going to say they're big bangers. I'm going to say that their Lincoln Cent portion of today's Monday Market Report is a little bit lighter than what I'm used to seeing. All right. And that's usually the case when there's a big national show that's happening, like the ANA. So, aside from that, overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing. So, we're going to talk about some of these coins here today. It's a pretty nice, healthy list. And it's a very diverse list, too. You're going to see that it's not all of one specific, part of the 20th century, but it's like all across the board, whether it's an earlier piece from the 19 teens or 20s, all the way up to the 80s, 90s, you name it. They're all pretty well represented here this week. As usual, before we get into things, okay, I saw on the platform Whatnot, okay, it's important that we realize that I don't know if it's important. It's important for me to let you guys know that I do two shows every week. The Budget Busters show just occurred as of the taping of this video. Getting it up a little bit later than usual, but at least we still get a glance at the market. It doesn't matter what day of the week that this drops. And we also have our normal, like regularly scheduled, like decent show on Fridays as well. So we got the US type, bullion, there might even be some currency mixed in there and some world coins. You name it. We got the best of the best happening, and that's all coming up this Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't joined up yet, please do so. I got my referral link down below in the description box where you will save $15 right off the bat on anything that you buy from any one of the sellers in the platform. So it doesn't necessarily have to be coins. If you're into sports cards, if you're into vintage video games, comic books, it really doesn't matter. You could use that $15 and really knock off a huge chunk on anything that you buy first time out. So if you sign up under me, you get that $15. Go ahead and check it out. It's a great platform. And I love it. It's a part of my daily lifestyle to be a part of that. And let's go ahead and get started here with these selections. Again, all from greatcollections.com. Of course, all the photos courtesy of them. As we take a look at things here, this first coin right here is one that should be no stranger to anyone. It's always nice and entertaining to find out that one does sell. And we have one here. It's a 1990 proof Lincoln Memorial set. Now, as we all know, this is supposed to have a San Francisco mint mark because that's where they're produced. All right. So as part of the original design, they do have an S mint mark that is generally right under the date. Now, by some weird, strange coincidence, the mint inadvertently left the mint mark off of the prepped working dies on just a few coins. They probably produced, a few dozen, if I had to say, but this is definitely a big chaser out of the 1990 proof set. And if you're not looking for this, then, you probably got this whole hobby wrong. Cherry picking is the art of finding something that normally anyone else probably forgot. And this is one of them right here. Pretty easy to forget as well, considering that, outside of this particular variety and maybe the 1990S Washington Quarter Double the Die Obverse FS101, there's not a whole heck of a lot to look for. And you could say the same for just about any other 1980s or 1990s proof set. So always be on the lookout for this. Now, NGC graded this one in a fantastic Proof 69 Red Ultra Cameo, and it's a huge coin. This one ended up selling for $3,862.12. Let me put it into perspective for you. A 1990 proof set, just right off the shelf at a coin shop or a show, is about $7 or $8. Okay, on average. Some go for $10, $12. Some of them go for a lot cheaper than that. I knew of a dealer that used to sell these and sell them for face value. So, but what I'm trying to point out is that these are very affordable. There should be no reason why that if you did find one, that you should have any sort of negotiation tactic happening. Just buy the damn thing and enjoy all this money. I've actually seen that before. That's the only reason why I brought it up. 1979S Lincoln Memorial Cent, another proof coin here. Let's go ahead and continue on a little bit of the proof love. I feel like, in spite of their much lower mintages, proof coins, especially from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they're not getting their due. And that probably is part of the, I guess, the softness of the market is like these modern proof coins are right in the mix as being kind of like underperforming. But when we talk about coins that fit very well in what we call a registry set, those are registry coins that are inserted either through PCGS or NGC in the highest grades possible. Now, a registry set doesn't have to be the highest grades of those coins. There's really no wrong way of doing it. But if you're looking to make an impact and kind of get some of that bragging rights points, yeah, the highest grade possible is where we're at here. This one right here is a perfect 70. That's the top grade in the Sheldon scale. It's a deep cameo, and it's a Type 2 mint mark. It's got the clear S on there. That's the more desirable out of the two mint mark types. This one right here, a great sale, $3,093.75. It's my understanding that the Type 1, the more common proof Lincoln Memorials of 79 in a perfect 70 sell for about $1,200, $1,300 less. They're under $2,000. There's a lot more of them. But still, whether it's a Type 1 or Type 2, they're still worth quite a bit of money. And these coins are just unbelievably well struck because they're struck like twice, for every go around. So a pretty healthy sale. I'm glad to be able to share this one. We also have this one here, 1959 Lincoln Memorial Cent, first year of that memorial designed reverse. This one right here comes in as a 67 red by PCGS. Another great one to see here. It is not the highest grade, and that kind of is the reason why this one sold for $1,293.75. 67 plus examples, typically sell for about 4x that amount. So even though just a 67, pretty nice safety net here. If you're trying to grade these and you're hitting that, trying to aim for that 67 plus grade, and you just manage to 67, it's not the worst thing in the world. $1,300 later, it's a pretty good coin to market if you don't want it. We also have a 49S. I believe 68 is the top grade for this particular piece here too. So another safety net coin, kind of like that tier 2 level. But this one is gorgeous, as most San Francisco minted 40s Lincolns are. They are just very well struck. And this one right here is a 67 plus full red, CAC certed as well. It's just a really great coin and a fantastic place marker for those high-end Lincoln registries. $1,127.25. And we have a pair of tougher roaring 20s Lincolns, as well I like to call them. 27S, no doubt about it. This is a toughie. So when a coin comes out as a Mid-State 64 red, our first kind of train of thought, especially when we're very familiarized with Mid-State grades on the Sheldon scale, 64 is just a very average, if not pedestrian grade for any Lincoln set. Now, when we get to the much earlier stuff that bears a Denver or San Francisco mint mark, kind of throw that premise out the window. Because just finding a market acceptable example that is a 64 red is a home run. That's what we have here. $2,081.25. It's not the highest grade, not by a mile. But heck, I'll take it in a 64, no problem. And we also have a Denver variant of that very same coin here. This time it's a 65 red. So the Denvers present and a little bit better. Their quality is a little bit better as well than any San Francisco minted coin of the 20s. So this one has a slight edge over those. This one right here, again, 65 red, ended up hammering for $1,866.38. Just the price discrepancy between the 64 grade 27S and this one kind of tells the whole story that you need to know. We also have this 10S. It's very, very rarely do we ever talk about either a 10S or 11S. They just don't pop out, for any sort of coin out there, that is not an 09 SVDB, but also from the teens. If they didn't make any sort of market impact, they will generally not be talked about. So this one just so happened to squeak on by, and that's due largely to a very underwhelming Lincoln Cent showing on this week's Monday Market Report. Again, we had that ANA show. They kind of hold back some of the bigger pieces for the weeks where there are no big national shows. So this one right here, it's a 66 red. It probably looks more 64 plus 65 in my opinion. The reverse, there's more brown on the reverse than anything else. It's like a 50-50 split. There's that pretty heavy contact mark right above the Y and the date right there too. Not my personal favorite, and I know that there is a little bit of extra considerations for the earlier dates. But where are we at here? This one sold for $1,875.38. So, call it kind of like conservative bidding because of some of the things I did point out, even though it is already slabbed, or it could just be that people want just the big monumental examples, the 67s of the world, 67 pluses. And this particular date, you get one that's high, I think is going to be very well presented as a true red coin. Now we're on to nickels, and the first one here is incredibly tough, guys. 55 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel. The coin looks rather lifeless. It has more of a gunmetal kind of color to it. I guess you could say that's the toning that presents onto the coin. But the 55, boys and girls, is a date, whether it's a Philadelphia or Denver, they're tough on luster. They are virtually non-existent, and a nice mid-state example to some people appear to look like it's been cleaned. That's just the way they present, and there's nothing that we could do about it because it was just that time. So we have one here that ended up earning a rather tough grade in the 66 full steps. The toughest part is the full steps part, because it's a date that we just don't see that well-hammered strike to begin with. So this one here ended up selling for $1,047.38. There are better examples. Obviously, this is more of a safety net coin. And again, it could just be the outward presentability of the coin that really, held back bidding on this one. It could have very well hit $1,500 because it is a 66. So that's also another thing. Here's a great one here. I'd like to say that I've hit, most of the Jefferson nickel varieties. Quite a few of them. I've had the 39 doubled Monticello. I've had the 42D over horizontal D um, example as well. That's always a big one. I've had the 54S over D and a few others. I mean, there's quite a few of them out there. But the 46D over inverted D, boy, I did mightily forget that this one was even in existence. And because of its quirkiness on that weird, funky repunch mint mark, this one has kind of in recent years catapulted to a holy grail coin of sorts. It's right up there. If you're able to find one that's a 66 full steps like this one in a 42D over horizontal D, holy smokes, that is a coin of the ages. One that probably would be right around $10,000. The one that I had found was like an XF coin, so it was not even remotely close to that pinnacle of grades, I guess. FS501 is the Cherry Picker's Guide Favas Stanton catalog number that's assigned to this one. And how about $1,987.88 for the sale? Again, this is a coin we just don't see pop up on the marketplace. Call it maybe the annual coin or once a year coin is what I call it. And boy, man, this thing's gorgeous. And it's not really in your face like it looks. It's a 43D silver manganese war nickel. These, as we all know, are very well struck. So finding one with full steps is not hard at all. Mid-state 67 plus, full steps, QA certified as well, very similar to CAC, but they deal more in kind of like the modern um, era of coinage. But boy, that obverse coloring, yeah, that's the chef's kiss component to this coin here. And, for the money, it feels like a wildly just great deal at $1,209.38. Like, with its grade, and I know 68 or 68 plus is kind of like the big grade for this coin, but boy, for the color and the QA sticker and the plus designation, I mean, this could have sold for $3,000 and I wouldn't have bat an eye. It's that special. The next one that we have here, one that a lot of people kind of like tend to forget. But boy, those reverse design types, the transitionals, really trip up some people to a point where they just completely ignore it. This is a 39S semi-tougher date, reverse of 38. So it's got the more cruder steps on Monticello where they're kind of wavy, which is what this one has here. 67 full stepper, grade by PCGS, $2,837.25. Really nice one. We also have this 21S Buffalo. Note the grade AU58. Sometimes that's all it takes to really turn a coin that most people probably wouldn't think too much of into something that is quite rare and valuable. All right, and it's all about the grade. This is a very tough date, along with a bunch of other 1920s Buffaloes. This one also has a CAC sticker. Falls very much in line with the assigned grade. $2,880. All right, that was that one will shock a few of you, because of its numerical grade. We also have this 15S, beautiful coin. This one grabbed a 65 grade by PCGS. Another tough one too, but the money seems like it's very well affordable for this one. It's either a collector coin or a registry set place marker. There are much better, higher grades of this particular date and mint mark. $2,870.62 was the final tally on this one on GC. Now we're on to dimes. The dimes, the few of them that we do have, quite impressive. We talked about the 1990 Lincoln earlier. How about the 68? Boy, same holds true here. It's missing the San Francisco mint mark. It was the first year where they applied the San Francisco mint mark because all of the other SMS or proof coins prior to this were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. So the mint employee or whoever is responsible for prepping the dies left the mint mark off of the working die. So again, that's just an oversight there, but an oversight turned into a killer chase, hot pursuit kind of thing in this one here. PCGS Proof 68, just a bomb of a grade. $18,067.50. It's one of the bigger ones that you can find out there without the mid market. Keep in mind, this is a proof coin, so you're going to look through those proof sets. The regular Philadelphia Struck business strike examples of a 68 will have no mint mark on it. All right, so just to let you know, a little PSA, I was going to say PDA, but we're not displaying any affection here. We're just, offering a service announcement to everyone that the Philadelphia 68s are without a mint mark. All right, who would have thought, right? Here's another one that gets a little bit extra credit for its toning. This is a 1956 Rosie here. This one grades 67 plus full bands. Pretty nice, attractive piece. Roosevelt dimes. Now, the conversation is, are there more people paying attention to these now because all of the other graded high-end coins are expensive? Or is it the news of the redesign for 2026? It could be a few things. But we do know this one here sold for $1,293.75. We also have this beauty here. Nice crusty color on this 1940 Mercury dime. Philadelphia, very well struck. 68 full band specimen, CAC certed as well. I would say that the color probably gave this one all of the extra support it needed to sell for $3,486.38. That's like 2 weeks in a row that we've seen just an insane 1940 Philadelphia Mercury dime. Just really hit the market, in a pretty wild way. And here's our second one here. Wow, a tough one here. 1919D, 64 full bands through PCGS. This was the coin that I believe if it hit 66 full bands, it's like $100,000 coin. So a pretty big. You're gonna hear here in a second. There's just a pretty big discrepancy in the value between what a 64 is, which is this one, by the way, $3,318.75, and that top tier 66, 67, whatever that high grade is for a 1919D. This is quite the impressive coin. Again, some just don't know, but the people that do know, the Mercury dime professionals, this one is very, very, very high on the list. And, the people that are waiting for it, they're willing to open up that big fat wallet or write that check to own a six-figure Mercury dime. That's this one here. But yeah, we have color on a clad, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is a business strike 66 Washington quarter. Let's not forget that this date, the mint only produced SMS sets. They didn't produce a real mint set that has a business strike 66. So yeah, this one looks like it's been sitting in an album for 30, 40 years. I know Dansko albums generally do this style of yellowish toning that is quite light and very pastel-y. That's what we have here. NGC gave this one a 68 star. The star denotes a tick in the the eye appeal department, and that's what we have here on this one. $1,406.25 was your final tally. We also have this 41. Just an amazing grade. The toning, again, adds all of the desirability. It's a 68 grade, CAC certified as well. That CAC means a whole lot more on a grade of this caliber. How about $9,843.75? We also have a 32D. It's one of the big premier key dates of the Washington Quarter Series. Between this and the 32S, they are the two kind of stoppers, I would say. How about 65 grade? overall, nice original coin, has never been dipped. That's important. $7,031.25. And the final coin of the day, we don't talk about them that much, but we are here. A 1959 Franklin half dollar proof 67 deep cameo. 59 is not particularly a rare date to obtain out there. Proof sets of 1959 can be had for about 45 bucks in today's market. So if you're going to pursue any of these frosty deep cameo coins, you've picked probably the right date because of its affordability. Once you get to like 55 and 54, that's where these proof sets become incredibly expensive. You just need to be a little bit more diligent on the grading aspect of it. But this one of the big coins of the day at $17,422.88, all for a 59 DCAM. Well, there's surely more of these, so surely, get off your tuchus and try and find one of these because, proof sets are just the best way to really make a huge impact if you're looking to grade your coins because these are very well struck. They are presented as collector pieces, so they have to be at the highest possible quality. That's going to go ahead and do it for today. Information provided in this video is for educational use only, not financial advice. Please do, as always, collect and or grade your coins responsibly. I'm your host, Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys so much for attending and for all of your views and support. I love you guys. So I want you guys to have a great rest of your day. Enjoy this wonderful hobby we're in, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.